I, Luke, send a message to all those that follow our Lord Jesus Christ. I know you are suffering persecution, but I've come to Rome to find Paul.
I think the genesis of the film started with a movie we did before this called Full of Grace. It's a smaller movie done about Our Lady, about Mary, the mother of Jesus, and it started a path of doing films in a different way, kind of artfully made, spiritually rich films. I think films that were more for our taste, our sensibilities, our generation from a cinematic point of view. And after that, we thought, well, it's an interesting step in the sort of canon to tackle another person who had never been put on screen. Like Mary had never been really a movie of her own. Neither had Paul.
Well, I think the journey from Full of Grace as an smaller independent film to a studio film, Paul, the cool thing was we always had an intentionality with Full of Grace that would become a Paul or would become something bigger. It was sort of an experiment that we looked at biblical films and this genre, and both felt there wasn't really much for us out there. Passion of the Christ aside, that a lot of the Christian films maybe were coming from a more inspirational driven, kind of very vanilla, and we just wanted to see something that maybe showed a humanity to these people. So when we made Full of Grace, I don't think we ever really felt like this is a small movie. It was more, we just wanted to focus so much on the relationships. So Mary and Peter together, and what would they be saying? Who are these people, right? I mean, it was more like, who are these people? And so the Paul transition really didn't feel like much of a jump because we were doing the same thing. It just, we happened to have bigger cast.
and no one told us that we couldn't do certain things in conventions. Now, I mean, Sony helped us develop the script, and so we're grateful for that. But what remains true in Full of Grace and Paul is you have strong dialogue, you have great writing, and we're not accustomed to listening, I think is the thing. We're used to being shown action, shown violence. Now, Paul has a lot of great aspects to it. It's very engaging. There's a lot more storylines, but the heart of it was built around what Full of Grace came from, which is showing Mary at the end of her life. This is Paul, season Paul and Luke dialoguing, because these are the two great men of the tradition, and of course they would have things to say. We treated it, we always say, like Shakespeare. You may not like Shakespeare, but it's worthy of listening to some of those great speeches. It's worthy of being drawn in. So yeah, it didn't feel like much of a transition in that respect from an artistic point of view.